What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back, unfortunately, to another video. And I say unfortunately because I do not, and I did not want to make this video because at the time of this recording, which is June 9th, 2026 at 2:38 a.m., I have a horrible work sleep schedule. I know it's a very weird time. This will be up later in today on the 9th, but I'm making this video, and at the current time, every single NA player and every single NA team at the IEM Cologne 2026 major are out of the tournament. And in my notes, I don't know if this is fully correct. I haven't dug deep into this, but I saw a lot on Twitter or I guess X, and I think Scrawny or Launders, one of them, said that this is the first major in CSGO and CS2 history where there has not been an NA, a North American player representative in top 16 teams, which is very, very, very unfortunate. We're going to dig deep into, maybe not dig deep, but I have a lot of things to show you guys, which a lot of you probably have seen already. But we're going to go deep into it, and I'm going to give my thoughts. I'm going to go over some of the games, some of the score lines, what went wrong. A lot of things went wrong here, but yeah, we're basically going to be going into a lot of that. So basically, I'm going to structure this video by obviously the three NA teams, which were Liquid, NRG, and M80. I'm going to structure this video by the first team that went out, the second team that went out, and then the third team went out, which is Liquid, NRG, and M80 respectively. So we will start with Team Liquid. Their first game was against Big, and they actually won 13-10, which, you know, a lot of people were saying, you know, Big might not be good this major. We haven't seen what Big can do in this major or in this year. Obviously, they haven't really had much to go off of. I believe they took, I don't remember how long it was, but they took a long time off and just basically just pracked and did a lot of just practicing and getting ready for this tournament and didn't really do a lot of officials. So it was very hard to say how good Big were going to be. Obviously, they're in stage 2 and they could, I believe, potentially make it to stage 3 right now. Is that correct? Am I saying that right? Yeah, so they do have a potential to make it to stage 3 if they beat Bait. And with my pick'ems, I want Bait to win, but I don't really care much about my pick'ems. I would love to see Big in stage 3 in front of a German crowd. That would be amazing. But this is not about Big or the stages. This is about Team Liquid. And we'll get to the team in a second. But they did beat Big, which I think is a very good start to the Cologne major, because again, we obviously see that Big have a potential of going to stage 3. So I think beating him in this best of 1 was good. Obviously, best of 1 first game to the major. There's a lot riding on it. Or sorry, not a lot riding on it. There's a lot of factors can come in. Who slept better? Who had maybe a better breakfast? You know, a lot of things can be put together into the first game of a best of 1 in a major. It's very 50-50. Either you do good or you don't. Best of 1s, especially the first ones of the day, first ones of the major, are very hard to predict, and that's why stage 1 pick'ems are horrible, right? But yeah, I think this was a very good game from them. It was close, but Snaf and Elige really did take this game into their own hands. And I think we're going to be basically seeing that through a lot of the games. And you see this right here, this guy right here, this guy right here. You get ready to see a lot of this, unfortunately. Get ready to see a lot of this guy down here. We'll get to that, again, a little later into this portion of the video. But I'm just going to say right now, there needs to be some sort of changes in this team very badly. This team is basically dead in the water. We've been saying this for months. This off season player break, whatever needs Liquid needs to do something here, very, very, very badly. Because if they don't, who's going to be rooting for these guys anymore? Not me. I haven't been rooting for them for a while, but it's just going to really show that they don't care about the result. Something needs to happen to this team fast. We go on to the Bet Boom game, which they lost 13-9 on Dust 2. I do not think that is crazy. This Bet Boom team obviously went 3-0 in stage 1, so it's not really that big of a surprise in hindsight, but also when you look at Bet Boom versus Liquid, it's not that crazy to see these guys losing to a team like Bet Boom, who are just, especially in a Dust 2, that's breakfast for them. That's a light work for this Bet Boom team, especially because I mean this is just, they can just frag out and default, do some execs, and then you're good. Obviously, as you see here, their IGL was top of the leaderboard in this best of one, 15-12 with a 1.40 rating. Their IGL was top of the leaderboard here. And then we go down to this Liquid side. Again, do not be surprised when you see this guy down here. And then now that he's here, I'll say it as well. Do not be surprised when we go through these other games that this guy is going to be down here as well, because it's been saying for a while. Everyone's been saying it for a while that these two, I don't think they belong in this team. Very respectively, but I mean, it's just been known for a while. Ultimate is not doing what he needs to be doing on this team. I'm not just going to say that it's just Ultimate and it's just Suhei. It's everyone is so inconsistent. Elige tilts so easily, so many times, and that obviously affects many games and many rounds for this Liquid team. But I mean, it's time. It's been time up for Ultimate, but especially after this major, it is time up for Ultimate. His time is past. His time is gone. Again, I'll get to this later when we get to the end of this Liquid portion of the video. I think, depending on, what's already been in the works for two players in specific, I think there's a clear route to go for this Liquid team if they want to stay with this NA core. Who knows if they want to? Naf's been here for a while. Maybe you give Naf away. I don't know. I don't know what they're thinking, but again, I don't think losing 13-9 against Bet Boom on Dust 2, I don't think that's crazy, especially again hindsight, because they did go 3-0 in the stage 1. But again, I just think if you have a better performance just from this guy, Shuhei obviously hasn't been doing good. Putting up 9 and 17, 0.47 rating is not what you want to see, even from your IGL. It's not what you want to see, right? It's Dust 2. You can do a couple things to try and, boost it up. But again, I'm not even talking about this guy right now. It's Ultimate. It's Dust 2 with an op. There's so many things you're going to be able to do, especially with a team like Liquid and with these players. There's no way you can't be able to play and get some openings and get some picks to help your team. It's just, it's so unfortunate to see this guy all the time just being lackluster for this team and not playing his part and playing his role. And then we go on to MIBR versus Liquid. I think there is a very, very, very clear world where Liquid can take this game. I don't think it's out of this world that Liquid could take this best of one against MIBR on Mirage, especially since it was 10-13. Couple rounds could have gone their way, a couple clutches could have gone their way, a couple advantages that they had, they could have closed out. But I mean, again, we're gonna say it most of this time for this portion of the video. But again, Shuhei 4-15 with a 0.50 rating. But then you look right here, you have Elige going 9-17 on a Mirage. This is for a player like Elige, this should be where he should be up here. He should be second or third because obviously Malbs had a very good, very, very, very good match here, very good Mirage, and Ultimate obviously doing much better in this match. But I mean, Liege, man, this should be your stomping ground, right? MIBR have looked very inconsistent in both stages they've been in, very inconsistent. For Liege to go 9-17 is that is not that is unacceptable. It is honestly incredibly unacceptable for him to have this performance. We look at the T side, 3-10, CT 6 to Liege 6-7 on CT, but on T side 3-10. There's no way a Liege of all people should be dropping a 3-10.45 rating on a Mirage, and then Shuhei having 0 kills on the T side. 0 kills. 0. I mean, again, it's just unacceptable from just about everybody on this team. And it's yes, Shuhei has been down here, Ultimate's been down here, but so is Malbs. Malbs against Big on the nuke, he didn't do good either. It's just nobody can find any consistency on this team. And it's just so heartbreaking to see every single time. I know I shouldn't be surprised. Nobody should be surprised about this, but it's really unfortunate and insane that this just happens so much. Like 10-13 is just 3-10. It's ridiculous, man. It really is. And then we go to the Liquid versus Heroic game where very easy 13-5 on the nuke for Liquid. And then 13-11 closing out on the Inferno. Pretty close, but that's Inferno. I mean, look at the CT side of rounds. Look at the T side of rounds. It's classic Inferno, right? And we go here, and then even on a win, Malbs is just rocking the world. And then Liege having a comeback match, which is great. Ultimate, not doing too bad. And then Shuhei doing a bit better, which is good. This was a good match. This was a good series for this Liquid team. I'm not going to say much about Shuhei on here because they won, and you're not going to get too much out of your IGL. So it's nothing crazy. I'm not going to shout and yell, whatever. This is fine. This is what everyone wants to see from this Liquid team. This scoreboard right here is what we expect. Not expect, but what we should be expecting from this Liquid team if they weren't just dead in the water for the past 3-6 months, however long, right? This is what we should be expecting from this Liquid team more times than not. But again, it's just not how the cards are playing out. So very good from that perspective. And then unfortunately, we go to the FlyQuest versus Liquid game where why. Okay, everybody has probably said this already, and you've probably heard this many times, right? FlyQuest have a 90% win rate on Anubis. 90% win rate. And maybe it's not against the best teams, right? But Liquid is not one of the best teams. They're not a great team. They're not. So when you're going up against a FlyQuest that has a 90% win rate on Anubis, and then we see FlyQuest removing Mirage, which is, obviously that's a very good ban from them against a team like Liquid. And then Liquid ban Overpass. But let's just go look at the Liquid camp real quick, right? Let's go look at the Liquid camp. Let's see their stats. Liquid have a 0% win rate. They have 2 losses. 1 to FlyQuest. Let's see what the other one is. And then against Sashi, who Sashi is not a good team. They're not a great team. They are not a great team, and they lost 10-13. And then, so what did they ban? They banned overpass. On overpass, it's not even up here. Honestly, it's not even up here, so it doesn't even matter. FlyQuest have one loss. Why would you go ban this when you both barely have anything on it, and not ban the overpass because FlyQuest has a 90% win rate on the overpass? Why would you do that? And we're going to get into what I believe it was the IGL of FlyQuest said about this particular thing right here. But why? What is going through your head to not insta ban Anubis against a team like FlyQuest, who have a 90% win rate? I forgot how to do 90% win rate on Anubis. What is going through? Are you going to ego them? You have not been doing good on this stage 1. You cannot think about egoing a team on their literal best map. It doesn't matter who they played. It does not. They have a lot more time spent on that map than you do with a 90% win rate. It doesn't matter who they played. If they have a 90% win rate on any map, why would you play them on that map? It makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense. So obviously FlyQuest dominate them. I don't know why this, I'm so sorry. I don't know why this is changing so much. This is so annoying. Obviously, they dominate them on the Anubis 13-2, which is absolutely ridiculous. And then 13-7 on the Inferno. I mean, after this Anubis, you're just gonna think that, wow, okay, it's over, it's GG's, it doesn't matter anymore, right? So, oh man, it's ridiculous. It really is. And the rounds too were just so abysmal from honestly both teams, but Liquid just were so dead in the water from the start of this game. To be completely honest, there was no cohesion. People were missing so much util, making just the worst plays imaginable, and it was a sight to see. It really was. If you haven't seen it, don't go watch it. do not go and watch this game. But yeah, so on the Anubis, it doesn't even matter who topped, who bottom. It was just abysmal out of all of them. And then on the Inferno, I'd say the same exact thing. 7 rounds. What are you gonna do? Nothing. I mean, Naf was low key just getting destroyed on his site. There was nothing to do for them on this match. So if we go and look at what the IGL ins on FlyQuest said about this match, the interviewer for HLTV said, obviously congratulations. Wanted to first ask about the veto because Anubis was pretty unexpected, at least for me, the interviewer. Do you feel the same? How happy were you when you saw it? The IGL, it was very unexpected. They did not even prep for it because they thought there was no way they would let that pick through, considering we both have the overpass ban. They did not prep for Anubis, and they still beat them 13. I mean, oh man, this is ridiculous, man. It's so insane. It is so insane that this is just something that just seems to always be happening. Something like this just always seems to be happening. And if you watch any of the podcasts or any of the interviews, Sponge, the caster Chad Sponge, has come out and said that FlyQuest have not been able to do much practicing because I believe 3 of them live in Europe and then 2 of them live in Australia, which those time zones and especially the ping are ridiculous. So they have not been able to have much practicing. And even the IGL says with limited practice we're happy with how we've performed so far. And you have a team like Liquid who should be able to practice all the time. And yes, again, their morale is probably very down. And even Elige has come out and said that his self-confidence, he's been having self-confidence issues ever since joining Liquid. And it makes sense with all of the moves they've been doing and all of the restructuring they've been doing with these players. How can you not, with being the star, supposed to be the star of the team, and always being switched around, always having new people come around with new ideas, and even says different ideas on how to approach the game with a new coach, with a very different coach than the last one. How are you not going to be low? How are you not going to be having low self-esteem and not having your time feel wasted with the current change in direction time after time? I mean, I don't know. I want to say I feel bad, but I really don't. This team knows that something should have happened sooner, and this is just a total slap in the face after multiple slaps in the face. How many slaps in the face do you need to be like, okay, something's got to change? And I don't think this should be the last slap in the face for this team, with something needing to change. And with that, there's ways you can go around it, right? Obviously, I said, there's one thing you can do is take these two out and then have the NA core right here, right? Obviously, maybe you're like, hey, nah, because I believe it was rumored that Snaf was going to get benched or removed, and he was even like, yeah, I would bench me too. I haven't been doing good. So maybe they relook at that if they keep one of these two, which I don't think they should keep either Shuhei or Ultimate, right? And I think you do keep Malice. I think, if anything, you probably do keep these two and be like, yo, Elish, give us one more chance, man, please, because... And maybe you give him keys of the kingdom fully. Maybe you give him full keys of the kingdom and finally just be like, you're our star. We want you to stay. If you want to stay, maybe he goes to phase. I don't know. But there's clear ways to go about this. Either you, again, take these two out and go with two other picks, or you do, maybe a Snaf and an Ultimate, and then keep these three and try and restructure on this, get a different op, and then get a different anchor. My personal opinion, you say what's up to Kixan, and you say what's up to Dexter. I do not think this is a bad idea. These two have won together before. The only Falcons win, right? If we remember, which one was it? Lands. Here we go. Right here. Here we go. The only true Falcons win with Dexter and Kixan. And mind you, I believe Dexter was the MVP of this tournament. And then they kicked him for Modest. He hasn't been on a team since. I do believe you can kick these two, Shuhei and Ultimate, and then you get Kixan and you get Dexter for these two. I think Kixan can really benefit. I think Elish can really benefit from Kixan. Very structured, very good. I think Kixan is very good at IGL. I believe we all think Kixan is a good IGL. And I do think Dexter has a lot more to offer, especially from the Budapest tournament, where he got an MVP over Nico. I don't think that's a bad shout. I think you look into these two and you see what's up and you see if Elish thinks this is a good idea. I don't think he thinks this is a bad idea. I do not. You're getting a very good IGL in Kixan, who has, maybe not won trophies, but that's the Falcons curse. But he's gotten them. He's gotten this Falcon. Kixan got the Falcons team very, very, very close to winning tournaments. And you get Dexter back, who has shown that he can be an MVP caliber opper with the leading of Kixan, and especially with with these two, especially with Malbs and Elige, that is so much space opened up for Dexter to do his thing and to play his op role the way he wants to. I think these two can really open up the map and really give a lot of space to Dexter to be the opera that he can be. I do not think this is a bad idea at all. I think you look into this very heavily and try and take at least Kixan before another team does, because I think this offseason is going to be money for Kixan. There's probably going to be a lot of very good teams who maybe want a different restructuring for their team that are going to want Kixan. And I think Liquid need to be one of those teams. I do. Very much so. I'm not sure if this is exactly what they want to do. Let me know in the comments if you think maybe I'm going insane. Maybe this is just pure cope. Maybe this whole team needs to get wiped. I wouldn't be mad at that. I wouldn't be mad at that either. I think Elige even said on an interview that maybe you just kick everyone on the team and you just restructure. Maybe that's what they do. Maybe none of these people want to be even close to each other. But I do think that this Kixan Dexter angle could bring a new system, a new face to this Liquid team to try and boost their morale and try and get them over the edge where they've been obviously lacking. And then we go and look at this unfortunate NRG team, which they go out 2-3, same as Liquid in stage 1, unfortunately. And their first match is against Gamer Legion. They lose 13-10, which is a good fight. No one really had a standout match against this Gamer Legion team, but Gamer Legion was a projected very high. A lot of people had them 3-0. They obviously went 3-1 to advance to stage 2. So very good that they were able to, put up a fight here, 13-10 on the Inferno. But again, still a loss. And they go over to play Sinners, which Sinners went, I believe, 0-3. Yeah, they did go 0-3 in the stage 1. And they beat them 13-6 on the nuke. Grim having a very good match here. Same thing with Sonic. They both did very well in this matchup. And then they faced FlyQuest 13-10 on the Mirage, with Sonic doing very well, very, very well. 1.8 with a 27-16 KD. Nitro then obviously going second to that, and then Bro, and then unfortunately Grim down here, which we'll get to Grim in a second. And then losing in the NA Derby against M80, which, I mean, I'm pretty sure M80, except for 1 or 2 games, I'm pretty sure M80 have had NRG's number for a while, but I mean, 13-6 on the Ancient, I would like to see that a little closer. These two have played each other enough to where maps, these series should be pretty gruely. They should be grueler series, in my opinion. And then a little closer, 10-13 on the Inferno. Not too bad, but again, I would like to see these guys going 3 maps almost every single time. They play each other enough to where they should know exactly what they do and be able to counter each other a lot. Grim, really the only one to have some sort of performance here. 1.24 rating, 32-27 KD. JBA, absolutely. JBA and Swisher, and honestly Lake too. These 3 kind of just held the series together for them. Yeah, I mean, these 3 really just held the series together to just kind of sweep NRG here, and then bringing them down to the 2-2 matches where I don't even want to look at this, man. I don't want to look at this. Oh, Big went 2-1 against NRG to knock NRG out of stage 1 and out of IEM Cologne Major. 13-5 on the Dust 2 for Big. An overtime win, 16-2 on the Nuke. And guys, I was gonna make a joke. I can't even make a joke, man. Big win 16-12 on the Mirage. But that's not the story. let's see if you guys can count together. So NRG right here, Big right here. Round history. NRG starts CT side. They get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 rounds in the CT side. And they're like, boys. And we'll look at the interview in a second. Boys, we need one more round. It's 12. It's 12-0, boys. It's 12-0. You know, maybe they win the pistol. Maybe they win the force. Maybe they win the bonus. Maybe they win our force. You know, whatever. But boys, it's one round, right? Let's just have a good cheeky round. You know, maybe just take mid control, whittle them down. No. If you thought that, you're funny. As Big go on CT at the end of the half, right? 12-0 going into the second half. Big get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 CT rounds. There hasn't been one T round won in a regulation time. And it's like, okay, you know, hey, guys, it's a new game. It's OT, right? You know, they did exactly what we did. They got their get back, right? It's a completely new game. Let's just go into the second. Let's go in the OT, you know, have a good pistol. We're fine, guys. Maybe win the force. Maybe win, whatever. It's fine, guys. They did exactly what we did to them. We did exactly what they did to us. It's all right, guys. Let's regroup. No. Big one, force straight. There was one T round won in this whole series on this whole map on Mirage. And the Counter-Strike X account says they made a tweet which never seen before and likely never seen again. 16 straight rounds. One total T-side round, one a Mirage. Big Clan are the final team to advance stage 2 of the Cologne Major. And then Thor. And then Thor tweets this out. Oh man, this hurts. This hurts to watch, guys. This hurts to watch. This really does. I don't like making these videos. I need to though, because this is atrocious. This is absolutely atrocious. One round. And let's just, you know what? Let's all group together. Let's grab your popcorn, grab your drinks. Let's watch this interview with Grim right after the round was done. The series was done right after that 16 rounds straight comeback by Big.
Matchup was NRG Big, and I've got Grim here joining me on the other side of what was a crazy game, to say the very least. Grim, let's get out in front of it here, man, because at some point in this series, it was feeling good. Everything seemed to gel and mesh for NRG at a certain point, and it was like, wow, we're really going to get this one across the line. Where did it all start to fall apart for you?
Honestly, I don't even know what to say right now, to be honest. I think, nothing was working on our T side. I mean, they played really good. Yeah, honestly, don't have many words right now. My mind's just fucked.
This is a rough one for you. You come back year after year, you know, major after major, cycle after cycle, and I've got to ask, you know, what keeps that drive? What keeps you pressing forward for more?
I mean, losses always suck, but to lose in this fashion is honestly unacceptable and a bit ridiculous. But I mean, at the end of the day, you can't really do anything about it now. But what keeps me playing, I just enjoy competing, and I know I enjoy trying to, you know, be one of the best NACS players possible. And I will continue to try to do that, even though we lost, I don't know how many rounds on a road today. I mean, shit happens, honestly.
Ironically, I did have this ready just in case. It was 16 rounds in a row, Grim. I'm sorry. It's a rough one. It'll be a game that people remember for a really long time. You want to get ahead of that and say something now?
Yeah, I mean, we were feeling really good, honestly. After Nuke, I thought we were going to win for sure, and obviously we're up 12-0. I had a joke at halftime, honestly. I was like, all right, guys, all we need is win one round. And apparently that joke went a bit too far, and, well, I don't know. That's what happened.
It's kind of a jinx. Hey, man, Grim, commiserations, buddy. Honestly, I hate to see you go out like this. Good luck to you in NRG.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Man, the
Oh man. Oh man. I mean, if we take a look at this NRG roster, right? I mean, the biggest thing about this NRG roster of recent time was the addition of Grim. Now, I know in the grand scheme of things and in the whole Counter-Strike world, the addition of Grim was not it wasn't a blockbuster move, right? I have it on my notes right here. The addition of Grim, not a huge move, but for an NA team, for an NA core team, obviously they have, two internationals, right? Sonic and Bro. But as an NA team, when you get Grim from Passion UA, who was doing good, he was putting up numbers, and he still puts up numbers time to time. Bringing him into this roster was supposed to be something that was supposed to be very good for the team. It was honestly supposed to boost their firepower and maybe not take him to the next level of the world stage and in full international Counter-Strike and tier 1 events, but it was I feel like a lot of other people in the NA scene who kind of kept up with, especially Grim, this was on paper a good move because he brought firepower to this team, and he brought, something maybe of a better, a more star rifle role that could have elevated them higher and made their floor and potential ceiling higher as well. And to see them go out like this, and I mean, what have NRG done in a while? I mean, a lot of these are very low tier tournaments. A lot of these are very regional tournaments, right? And it's like, what do you do? I don't know if there's, especially after this tournament, especially after this series, and especially this map right here against Big. I don't know if you're able to recoup this team fully, or even to 75% to be able to recover this team. I maybe there might not be any trust in this team anymore. I mean, even Nitro, yes, it might have been a joke, but he was laying back in his chair after this Big series, and he even was like, maybe I was the problem all along. And yes, that might be a joke, but behind it, there's a lot of reasoning behind it in his mind, and maybe in a lot of our minds, and maybe in his teammates' minds too. They're obviously teammates, and they're gonna have their back to a certain extent, but still, it's the thing of like, it can be a joke, but there's weight behind those jokes. There always is. And if he's saying it, how long have his teammates been thinking that too? Like, maybe we need to do something about this. I mean, there's JT out there that then they would need to get maybe another NA person to, maybe they get Nyx. Who knows, man? There's things out there for this team, but I don't think it's enough to really elevate this team past where they are right now. 32 on HLTV rankings and 48 on VRS, Valve ranking system, right? So it's just, what do you do for these two teams, Liquid and NRG? What do you do for these two teams, especially after this major? Liquid, yes, probably more so than NRG, because Liquid literally switched to NA to be able to go to this major and take a spot from another NA team, which, I mean, sure, a lot of people were like, oh, it's fine, you know, whatever. It doesn't really matter that much. But with the performance they just had, yes, maybe another NA team wouldn't have done as good or whatever than Liquid did, but they made that move to go to NA to be at this major, and then Liquid did nothing with it. They literally did nothing with it. They absolutely fumbled the bag. So I just don't know what you do with these two teams. And it's not like bringing Nitro over to Liquid and bringing Elige over to NRG, you know, swapping these guys around and maybe going for another NA prospect, or bringing someone from, I don't know, Voca or wherever to these NA teams is going to do anything, because it's really not. It's not going to elevate them in any way. There's not a lot of insane prospects over in the NA scene, unfortunately. So it's just, what do you do? What is there available? I mean, maybe you can take a bet on No Cries. Maybe you can see if Peeping is able to be at the level where people thought he was supposed to be before he got dropped. But it's just, do you want to take that gamble? I don't think that it's plausible to take that gamble. I just don't. I really don't. And then we go to the last NA team, the better of the three NA teams, which is M80, and they went out 1-3 in stage 2 of Cologne. And I'll say this, how am I trying to say? I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not trying to, you know, give these guys a little out, but I'll say they had, I mean, G2 was the first match, and then they played Bait, which they actually won. Then they played then they play Bet Boom, which they got absolutely dusted on. Then they play Legacy. That's not an easy road in stage 2. But again, it's stage 2, right? You're going to be facing better teams in stage 1, infinitely better teams than stage 1. Even though, I mean, they played Bait and Bet Boom, which were in stage 1, but obviously those two went 3-0, and they kind of are supposed to be in stage 2. These guys are stage 2 teams, to be honest, and obviously it shows right here. Bet Boom went 3-1, and if Bait beats Big, that's a tongue twister. If Bait beat Big, which I do have them beating them, but you know, Big have been on a good tear recently. I don't think that this is too crazy of a loss for this M80 team, just because of the caliber of teams that they played. But they could have done so much more, and we'll get to that later. But their first match in stage 2 was against G2, which I don't think anybody really had M80 beating G2 in this series. I mean, 13-8, respectable enough on the Mirage. Slacks was the only one really holding it down for this team, and then obviously, you know, Nertz, Sunpius, and Mattis are going to have a field day with these guys. With a team like M80, these guys are just going to have a field day against these guys, to be honest. It's not really surprising to see these three players on the top of the leaderboard against a team like M80. So that's nothing really crazy to see. M80 actually beating Bait 13-10 on the Mirage, which M80 are a good Mirage team, right? But against a team like Bait, I mean, you got Ukrainian people on a Mirage. This should honestly be a field day for them. I'm not gonna lie, this really should. But I mean, Lake and Slacks kind of just leading the boys. The other three, JBA, Swisher, and Sin, 0.94, 0.75, 0.69, and then Lake with a 1.72, Slacks with a 1.33. So they were kind of leading the way, and Alex and Essential trying to do all they can, but I mean, Sizzy, Kenzie, and NPL, it was realistically a battle of, you know, these four players right here, and everyone else kind of just trying to do their job, but not doing the most. So really good for them. yeah, I mean, it's still kind of the same story. JBA had a good CT side, decent CT side, but again, it was really Lake and Slacks doing the most for these two and get them over the edge to beat this bait team, which I think honestly is a good series to win for these guys. This could have been a good motivator for them, for this M80 team to go into their next match, especially beating a team like Bait, who I again think are a good stage 2 team. I think in almost every major from now on, if they're in stage 1, they're kind of just going to wipe the floor unless, someone has an insane best of 1 run. But again, I think this Bait team is good, and this is a good respectable win for this M80 team. Then we go on to the Bet Boom versus M80, 13-2 on Dust 2. And I mean, these guys just had these guys farmed, absolutely farmed M80. Maybe not so much Zorte, I don't know how you say his name. Maybe it's not so much Diladez, but especially Flamus and Magnages. I mean, these two kind of just wiped the floor. You can even say Boomish. These guys really just wiped the floor with them. It wasn't even close. I mean, look at these score lines. 7s, 5s, and a 3. I mean, a red carpet for these guys. This was not even close. And again, I think having this first match could have been, a really good confidence booster going into this Bet Boom match, because maybe they don't play the exact same way, but it's a very, puggy team, face it team. They're going to play the regular face it maps, right? But it just didn't even matter, to be honest. I mean, Bet Boom, again, they just wiped the floor with them. Whole green carpet versus a red carpet. Who's going to win? It's going to be the green carpet all the time. So nothing too crazy here. Yeah, nothing too crazy here. And then, we unfortunately go on to the Legacy match where it was 2-0 for Legacy versus M80. Not too close on the Dust 2, 13-8. Maybe Dust 2 isn't the best M80 map. Maybe they got to, prac it more, boot camp it more. Who knows? Overtime on the Inferno. But 16-13 going Legacy's way on the Inferno against M80. Honestly, a lot of this just goes down to it could have gone 3 maps. It really could have if M80 closed out a lot of their advantages that they had. They had a lot of 3v1s. They had a lot of 4v2s, and they just didn't close them out. They just got clutched on so often, and that was really the whole story about this series, and especially about, I believe it was the last map. It was a lot of clutches for going in favor of Legacy, and M80 just not being able to close out these maps or close out the rounds specifically. And that was kind of just the whole downfall for this team. If we go and look at the score line, unfortunately, Swisher and Sin not really doing the best here. 0.76, 0.78 for Swisher and Sin respectively. JBA trying to do all he can. Lake trying to do all he can, but it's not enough. I mean, this Legacy team has honestly been looking good. Lotto looked a lot more like himself in this series specifically in comparison to some other series that they had in this stage 2. Sadzin as well, looking a lot more like himself in this series. Dumao kind of just, going steady. Nissim and Art not really having to do too much in this series, especially when you have Lotto and Sadzin, doing what they maybe not should be doing, but doing what we expect them to be doing in series like this, especially against teams like M80. So, yeah, unfortunately, M80 do go out after this Legacy loss, 1-3, and all of the NA teams, NA players are out of the Cologne Major. I don't think this is too bad for this M80 team. Again, they progressed through stage 1, which, I mean, I think they almost all the time certainly should be going through stage 1 in every major. Again, unless some team has a insane nuclear run and just blasts by everybody. And again, I'm not gonna sit here and do some cheese, but they did have a pretty hard route here. Again, G2, which will go 3-1, and then they win against Bait, which again, I think that's respectable. This horrible loss against Bet Boom, which I do not know what was wrong with them this series. They just totally got outclassed. There's nothing they could do about this series. And then facing Legacy, trying to keep it close, going to overtime again on the Inferno, not too close on the Dust 2. Maybe there's some things they have to work out on the Dust 2, but ultimately going out 1-3 in the stage 2. Again, I would like to see them win, you know, maybe get this closer, maybe go to map 3 against Legacy, see what happens there on the Inferno. But again, I am not too angry about M80 going out. I think you can push M80 aside, be like, okay, you did what you did, whatever. But we got to look at, and again, we already looked at them, but the whole NA scene has to look at this Liquid and this NRG roster and just be like, what are you guys doing? What? There's no way these two teams are representing NA and doing what they did at this major. There's absolutely no way that these two teams are what is left of the peak NA roster. So I don't know. It's very difficult to say what needs to happen. I am still in favor of, if Liquid want to keep these three and keep the NA core, you boot Shuhei and you boot Ultimate, you get Kixan and you get Dexter. You see what happens there. I do not think that is a bad idea. For NRG, I don't know. Maybe you just boot everybody. Maybe you just full restructure and start from the ground up again. I don't know. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Long video today. Really just had to get this out there and talk about NA scene and how just awful it is, I guess. Let me know in the comments what you think needs to happen, especially with these two rosters. Let me know maybe what your theories are. If you've been theory crafting, let me know what you think in the comments below. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Live on Twitch. What is it? Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and weekends. Come watch me be horrible at Counter-Strike. And I'll also talk about teams and watch VODs of the Cologne Major. And yeah, I hope you guys have a great night, great day, great evening. And thank you for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.